Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday, February 21, Wednesday, the day that everybody on FinTwit, on all the message boards, become NVDA experts after they report earnings later on today. Today is another quiet day when it comes to data. We've got Fed's Bostic speaking at 8 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, we've got the 20-year bond auction. And at 2 p.m., we have the FOMC minutes. Now, a lot of people are prejudging already what's going to take place today. And just take a step back. Chill out for a second because we've got a little bit to cover before we go pre-predicting the predictions that are going to be forecasted for later on today. Yesterday, highlight, 9:29 a.m., 1 minute before the open. Walmart earnings, gap fill, 170.36. That was at 9:31. I don't know why this was posted there, these slashes. 9:31 in the morning, Walmart earnings gap fills at 170.36. The February 23 175 puts are under 40 cents. That's because over in the zero DTE addicts, we got to trade. It's zero DTE. We got to trade zero DTE. Got to do it. Got to pick your head up from under the fucking pillow every now and then and look at how weekly options work, because prior to all of you addicts getting Robinhood accounts in COVID, there was no zero DTE. So what you had yesterday, under 40 cents. Oh, and then they popped 100%. And then you had another opportunity at under 40 cents. And you only peaked at 275% above that 40 cents and closed well over 150%. And it was only Tuesday. You still have today, tomorrow, and Friday. And Walmart's gap is not filled, but at 175.50, you're roughly right around in the money. So, yeah. So, enough with that. And again, financial juice. If you are trading on a PC or a laptop and you do not have financial juice playing in the background, highlighting this right here, this speaker for Tick Strike, you can listen to the news. It's fantastic news, but at least have Tick Strike there so that you can be paying attention to what's going on. So let's try and go over this as quickly as we can. SPX. We have not had a 40-point day yet. We're coming close, 33, 39, 38, 38, 69, 69. Everybody likes 69. But we have not had a plus 40-point range. Now, I want to point this out here as being noticeable because you do your spreadsheets. We had 2 red closes in a row beginning of last week. Boom, big green day. We had 2 red closes in a row. Friday, very rare to have a Friday red close since we started this rally in October 27 when Israel invaded Gaza. But we have 2 red closes in a row. Now, going back to the beginning of this year, we began the year with 3 red closes in a row. Then we hit that major turning point, that 46.82 on January 5th. But then we had another 3 red closes. Oh, I am wrong. Oh, I love being wrong. That was not a red close. I had it highlighted as a red close. So going back, we only had those 3 red closes in a row at the beginning of the year, but that was 4 red closes in a row because you got to go back to 2023, the last day of the year, December 29th. 4 red closes in a row. 3 over here in the beginning of December. That's it. Since Israel went into Gaza and we bottomed at 4103.78 on October 27th, we have had 3 red closes in a row twice. Very beginning of December and right there at the end of the year going into the beginning of the year of 2024. Other than that, we have not had 3 red closes in a row. So pay very close attention to that, because 49.75 is number 1, okay, where your gap fills. But I will bring you on to this as well. The low of the day yesterday being 49.55.02, providing that very rare safe put spread where you got a little bit more than $1 credit on it. 49.49.10 safe edge, untouched. But we did go further than minus 1% on the SPX. We broke below 49.55.51. Now, again, noticing the trend, going back to way back here in December 20th, minus 1% day, followed by a plus 1% day. Minus 1% day over here in January, followed by back-to-back plus 1% days. Minus 1% day over here at the end of January, followed by back-to-back plus 1% days. Now here, February 13th, CPI, we hit minus 1%, obviously, because we dropped down to 49.20. We were almost down 2% for the day. The very next day, our top was 5,252. Plus 1% is 5,270. We missed plus 1% by 18 cents. So I'm pointing this out to be very recognizable, to understand that this is how the algorithm, the data has been. So be very, very adamant about that if you are going to decide that you want to go out and buy 0 DTE puts today. QQQ, last one I'll cover here on the spreadsheets. Again, 2 back-to-back red days. Yesterday, minus 1.64%. I did not highlight this because I was on holiday and I forgot to. Where was this on Friday? Minus 1%. So a fractional minus 1% visit. Should have highlighted that. I'm a bad teacher for not doing that. 2 back-to-back red closes. 2 back-to-back red closes, 2 back-to-back red closes, 2 back-to-back red closes, 2 back-to-back red closes, beginning of the year. 5 back-to-back red closes, going back to December 28th, December 29th, first 3 days of the year. The bottom came on January 5th, which everybody knows. So again, a pattern of being recognizable. That's all that it is. Another pattern of being recognizable is how we are visiting in the 430s every single trading session. So another pattern simply to be aware of as we head into the Ponzi scheme of NVDA, which will be reporting earnings after the market closes. Speaking of after the market closes, Amazon. Right there at 5:19, 5:16 in the afternoon, an hour after the market closes, and Amazon is being added to the Dow Jones. Mark Zuckerberg.
When he looks at the podium, he's boxing heavy, so of course he's paid special attention to that. Last time we saw him, of course, was against Islam Makhachev, when he stepped up on short notice.
Amazon to the Dow Jones. I like that. I really do like that. And zooming out, okay, we're going to zoom out here on Amazon to get a bigger, broader picture. And as you're looking at this, you're going, what in the fucking fuck? Obviously, you're right, because you have all these fucking lines there. Yeah, I have these lines there because when they are appropriate and I need them, then I have them. That's why you see the color-coded gaps. You see this trend line coming here from 2018 and 2020, which was the highs. But I'm going to put out here in the same view, the 360 12-hour view, so I can see it all, and bring you on here onto the cleaner version. And yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to go through this and try and decipher it all, I see this as a 1, 2, 3, 4 with a 5 being completing. That's all that I can see on this. You could zoom into this in a different way using the March lows, which are, I don't actually like that, being an A, B, C. Either way, you're very, very close to a top. No, I would not chase Amazon and go out there and buy calls on Amazon, despite expecting to see somewhere in that 180 range, possible. I stress the word possible to that 178, 181, possible. I would not chase calls on this. Same thing still is in play for Amazon. You've made your run on Amazon. And the reason, again, like I say, I like this is because the drop on Amazon over there in 2022 came right down to the COVID lows. Pay attention to that. Pay very, very close attention to that. The drop on Amazon came, I don't even have it deciphered on here. I apologize. But yeah, you were about 50% from the all-time highs, if not greater than that. Yeah, 188 divided by 81. Obviously, that's greater than 50%. You don't know how to do math, Tim? So, again, on Amazon, I love it. They got added to the Dow. Enough of that. No need to talk about it. Where am I going with this? I'm going back to the 1 minute and I'm going to SPX because yesterday, as we came up there and we hit the 5-day moving average, which we gapped below overnight and we resisted it at the very beginning of the day, 49.85 failed. And then as you came down and bounced back up to 49.85, you failed again. And we almost filled the gap. Couple points, 2 points. Enough. But as this was boring as hell, and I came off a 17-hour trip from a boat to a car to a plane to a plane to a plane to a car, I had enough, and there wasn't shit happening anyway. So I said, watch out for that 49.85, and I was wrong because we failed at 49.78. And then you got that nice little dip right there at the end of the day, bang, bang, and right back up here closing in this range. So again, we are in the middle of the middles. 5-day moving average, 10-day moving average are above us, 20-day moving average is below us. Come back onto your data. Your data is pretty clean, minus 1% day yesterday. If I had to put a gun to my head and say, something's going to happen today, I would have to say, okay, there's probably an algorithmic chance that we're going to be visiting 50.25. I'm not going to play calls on it. I'm going to go and see if it can reach up there because I know it will be overbought. If it gets overbought, then because I'm a zero DTE addict and zero DTE is the greatest thing in the world, then I'll consider getting into something else. But today is much bigger than just that 1 day, 1 minute, because looking at it from a wider point of view, like we did, we had that drop down in the beginning of the month down to 49.18. We had the big CPI move down to 49.18. We have not tested 49.18. So as of for now, we can still have NVIDIA save this. We can still have NVIDIA come out and say AI is the greatest thing in the world. We can still have that happen. So we have to be a little bit cautious because, yeah, we can get up to 50.48. We can get up to 5100. We could. We don't know the answer to that yet. Things don't look good, but we could. So on to that view, I bring you on to QQQ with the same view, the 15-day, 30-minute, 42.6, 426. Get your fucking words right. Over here, 426, 425. Over here, we have broken that 425. Now, we haven't filled this gap back here, 422, but we are pushing pretty goddamn hard to start saying, hey guys, buy the fucking dip is over. So we're pushing towards that. And a failure here, with a failure from NVIDIA, we would immediately be looking at that 416. We get through that 416, and again, the big number comes into play, which is at 402.92. This is why 415 for March, for April, has continued to be the primary focus, because 415 minus 403, do your math, that's 12. Minimum that those contracts are worth are 12. They're trading at 3, they're trading at 2. You're a fucking moron if you can't go out there and look to March because, oh, I got these in January, I got these in December, and oh, I'm so fucking red on these. Oh, when the fuck is the market going to drop? You go and you get into a different position, and that position recovers all of the other position and makes that other position totally free, and you don't even care about it anymore. It's a little bit too late to get your $2 on those 415s, but hey, you give people the opportunity and it's up to them what they do with it. So anyway, on a shorter time frame view, again, this was a 3% drop in the course of 2 days. Friday's high going in here to Tuesday's low. Monday was a holiday, in case you didn't know. We are below the 20-day, below the 5-day, below the 10-day. We've done this before, and it's always come around and said, fuck you, boom, and gone straight up. So again, NVIDIA, after the market closes, all your questions are answered after NVIDIA reports. Speaking of which, this is my NVIDIA detailed chart, which I don't even keep on screen anymore because it's fucking worthless. You've got gap, 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 gap. NVIDIA literally minus 35% from 746. It's still green for the year of 2024. Still green on the year. Come into a view that I've shared multiple times, and I will zoom out here to give it a better picture. This move coming off the October lows into the highs, which were I'm looking at my extended hours. Apologize. I like Fibonacci's on extended hours more so than just a cash. So this move here off 108 up to 520. I got no structure on this, so I'm not even bothering to give myself a headache. I see this as an A wave, period, the end. I'm not going to sit here and count little frigets and digits and little bounces and then the creation of AI and count that as a wave. But the big gap up that you've got there, which you can see a little bit better here, right there, huge gap up with 346.47, having been the all-time highs back in November of 2021. I'm not going to bother with it. So I see it as an A. I see that as a B, a very clean ABC down here from July into October. And then this move that we are currently in, you could call it what you want, but I see it as coming off of that almost visit to the old all-time highs. 1, 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 for a C wave, and we will start seeing confirmations on that. If you get a break below 625, you start coming into your major Fibonacci areas in that 575, 595 area. Your 2024 open is down here at 492, which would negate everything because, again, you would be breaking all below that 520 over here from August. So there's a lot of can be, could be's that are willing to take place on NVIDIA, and you're going to find out in a couple of hours after they report later on today, because Apple, again, with Apple looking at the QQQ, a little bit of a wider view, but Apple, things no looking too good over here. Apple making that push over here to this 179, and things are getting a little bit sketchy over here on Apple, but Apple, it's not the Apple that it used to be because Apple isn't AI. Apple's only the Vision Pro goggles where you can masturbate in public and wear your clothes at the same time. And in America, people wouldn't notice because everybody's so fucked up over there already anyway. So anyway, here on Apple, boom, 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 big, nasty, oh shit, if we do get that break below 179. So I don't know how you're going to be able to recover and use only these AI chip names to get through that. And Meta.
When he looks at the podium, he's boxing heavy, so of course he's paid special attention to that. Last time we saw him, of course, was against Islam Makhachev when he stepped up on short notice.
Because I'll pull Meta up here. You can't fuck with Meta. There's nothing you can do with Meta. Oh, you can bring Mark Zuckerberg to the UFC fight and make everybody say, dude, get the fuck out of here. There's nothing you can do to hurt Meta. And it's probably because Nikki Haley's going to spend $1 billion on ads trying to fucking get that big black gangbang everybody's posted on Twitter yesterday. So anyway, that's with Meta. And again, got nothing to say else. SPX, big wide view. 5,000, 5,006, I would be very wary of as far as playing on the downside. 49.45, obviously 49.20. But again, with the data that we have, Having gotten that minus 1% day yesterday, having had the same thing happen over here back on CPI day, I would be cautious that there's probability of something coming out, maybe the FOMC minutes today at 2 o'clock, which is going to give you that big shove to the upside. And actually, you could probably use a little bit of that because here we go. Oh, I'll come back over onto the alert page down here this morning, and right around 4 o'clock in the morning, the Japanese government downgraded its view on the economy for the first time since November. They downgraded their view on industrial production for the first time since March of last year. And they slashed the view on consumer spending for the first time since February of 2022, when the stock market was eating a bag of dicks rolled in a sushi roll. Japan over here at the 1989 all-time highs, just pennies off of it, less than 100 points. And over the last 90 days, there's nothing you can do. Coming off the Israel invades Gaza low, fractionally low, and then you come over here to the beginning of the year, and this thing just goes apeshit, as if Japan invented AI. It's just gone total apeshit over there in Japan, and this is another reason why the market hasn't been dropping yet, because it's not just America. It's not just all of these shitty stocks. It's not just that. It's a global view. And right now, Japan's still holding things together. So the VIX, like I showed yesterday with the VIX, again, you've been getting higher highs on the SPX. You've been getting higher highs on the VIX as well. And you've been getting higher lows on the VIX, just like you have with the SPX. Window is here. The window is undoubtedly here. And it's all a question about NVIDIA. Does NVIDIA give it, or does NVIDIA taketh? We'll find out soon enough, because they're reporting at the end of the day. Which brings me on to Cisco, because everybody by now knows that NVIDIA is a fucking Ponzi scheme. They are taking money and giving it to someone who isn't even a real fucking company, which is different than what Cisco was doing back in the dot-coms. They are taking that money and giving it to them. They are then sending orders to NVIDIA to buy their chips, and then NVIDIA's recording it as sales. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme. This is what happened with Cisco, which did the same thing into the dot-com highs over here in 2000. And then reality hit it, and reality ripped the absolute ass out of it, down to 10 in 2002. So I got nothing to show you. I could show you Nortel, but Nortel, who did the exact same thing, didn't make it. Nortel filed bankruptcy in 2009. All 93,000 employees gone. Get out of here. You're out. You're fired. They were trading on the OTC market under NRTLQ, but that no longer exists since 2015, when it was 0.001. It is delisted. It is no more. So again, with NVIDIA and seeing the NVIDIA, the way that NVIDIA has, wrong chart over here, seeing the way that NVIDIA has made all of its movements. We're on to SMCI. SMCI, yeah, great one. SMCI, no gaps. No gaps on this drop after the interview.
So you know, we deliver the best generative AI platform in the world.
And yes, prior accounting fraud is not the same as the fraud that we're having now. This is a different kind of fraud.
When we said that you were coming on the program, our audience had many questions. One of them is about the SEC action taken against your company in August of 2020. The SEC charged Supermicro and the former CFO of the company with what they called widespread accounting violations and some numbers presented by the company. Could you update our audience and your investor base on where that process is and if you've put those concerns behind you?
Oh, yeah, those concerns have been behind us for many years.
The fraud is not the same. SMCI 2024 open 280.49. 280.49. This thing can drop 70%. 70? Let's see here. My math is not fantastic right now. 70%! And it will still be green for the year. So again, it brings you over there to NVIDIA. And I put it back to NVIDIA because I don't want to type this in. NVIDIA, where are you? NVIDIA, there you are. So NVIDIA, big, broad, wide view, like I've shared many times. That angle, just that highs angle that worked so perfectly multiple times. Where are we coming out to? 2018. So we'll change this to custom 2017 weekly so we can see it clean. Right when you came off those highs there from September 2018, right into those highs over here in November of 2021. Absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous. Right up here into the highs into August of 2023. Again, gorgeous. And then all of a sudden they just said, you know what, man? You guys don't know what you're doing. These trend lines are garbage. Why do you draw trend lines on your charts? We're going to blow your trend line away. And they did that. And when they did it via a gap up. There was a gap up over here in the beginning of the year on January 9th, and with no news whatsoever, boom, 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 boom. So here we are. And we're going into NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is going to be reporting at the end of the day. And today is Wednesday. And today is one of the most important days to look every one of your family members that are living next to you, look them in the eyes and tell them, I am so proud that you are one of my family members. Every single day, you make me proud to be alive. Because if you're not going to do that, there is no fucking reason for you to be trading unless you're trying to escape. And if you are trying to escape, send me a private message. I can give you some tips on how to do that and how to do it successfully and live in paradise. See you guys in the chat room.